I loved the vibrant colors, the big and bold emotions, and snappy, inventive transitions throughout. Super effective. I thought it was a really great exploration and use of the locations and the space to tell the story. Um, and you could tell that there was on the spot creative ideas brimming, and it felt very fresh and organic. I thought the pacing was really excellent as well. I was never felt it lagging, and there was constant surprises. I loved those very brilliant moments of magical realism, and I think that the movement and the dance-based sequences really elevated that and allowed us to indulge in that. And the performances were dedicated and deeply effective.
This piece takes on essentially two different types of looks and brings them together. You get this, sort of Russian black top hat sort of vibe here mixed with the stone and graffiti. It gives me, a vibe, a city vibe with that. I don't know exactly the Russian culture and graffiti and how that combines together. So to me, that was something new to see in that sequence, and I really loved the Picaroon bit here. I loved the imagery. I loved the story of this girl in a nightgown carrying her lantern. It's very Charles Dickens, and this sort of, again, period sort of piece, but they bring in these horror elements. The costuming is very simple here. You have these dancers who are using a sheet, but the way that they move their bodies and the way that they frame and get into position really shows a lot of movement within the sheet, a lot of dancing that's happening. And I really liked the switch of the play of the lighting from this spooky, dark, only having this candlelight to then flashing to this um, very red, blood, gore, scary, sort of vibe and sequence here.
I think there's a lot of really dark imagery here, or dark colorization that gives off a darker tone that I haven't really seen in any like techno outside of like Europe, or like it read very Berghain to me. It was a really interesting piece. I think you do a really interesting job, like creating these two battling characters, or these two at least contrasting characters throughout this piece, and showing this like battle for power almost. It's something that I definitely wasn't expecting to see, and I think it was really interesting coming together as a whole.
This reminded me of a dark, more like house techno nutcracker. You got, Homage and Picaroon. These two characters are standing out, or Homage, I guess, is also known as the Rat King, and they're caught in this struggle. You have this symbol that wants power and wants to have control, and that being the most important thing for the Rat King. And then you have Picaroon, who seems like she suffers from being like she's tormented. It seems like she feels like she's being haunted. There's one shot, there was a drone shot of this character from above. And I liked it because it seemed like it represented freedom, and the way she's dancing, you just see, it just felt like free flowing, happy. And then you see the character Picaron terrified of whatever is freely dancing outside her window. And it did seem like it was the same person playing both sides, but it could have not been. But if it was, I thought that would have been interesting, because it's almost like you're afraid of certain aspects of yourself. The performers both do a great job of showcasing their torment, of showcasing their the struggle, that internal struggle that they're both facing.
I so very much enjoyed how immersed in culture this piece is. Outside of the talent of it all, it really feels like it's standing for something and being representative. But I additionally enjoyed how it wasn't afraid to kind of be out there and a bit absurdist in moments, and even darkly so. We have tinges of darkness definitely apparent throughout this piece, senses of uneasiness with oneself and one's surroundings. But it really all comes together so beautifully to make something that's culturally evocative and quite memorable.
I liked the contrast in images as well, where it goes from everyday life to dancing figures that look like they're coated in blood and slime and stuff like that, where they're very, very different. You can tell they're paying homage to somebody with how their dancing is and what they're covered in. But to make it like it's a storybook when it turns into kind of like a lullaby and an old story was something I wasn't expecting, and it made it a nice little pleasant twist where you go from this hard rock tone to this soft little lullaby ballad type tone. It shows that this artist has a range that he can do.
I really enjoyed the music and the visuals with the characters acting and the setting and the different shots. It really felt very cinematic, like a movie. It was really interesting, and I think along with the music and the lyrics, it offered a great opportunity to explore.